Oh man, so, I was just sitting here cleaning parts and putting stuff on eBay. And just decided to check Craigslist for fun. I scout. And somebody put a batch of parts up there for $20. I didn't get a screenshot, he erased it so fast. But it was like a single 600 crank arm and some drifters with no hoods and, it looks like an Ultegra hub and derailleur. Some junk. And so I called him. And he's like, yeah. He got back to me like way later. And I'm like, yeah, come on over anytime. I'm like, cool, I'm free anytime. It's pretty close to my house, 15-minute bike ride. And I went up there, and you never know these things. People say $20, it could mean placeholder. It could mean $20 per item, which is what I thought I was going to say. But he's like, yeah, like $20, just for the stuff I put in the bag, but lots of other stuff too. And he showed me some bike frames, and he showed me some handlebars, and showed me some dead wheels and some rims and a bunch of junk old tires I didn't care about. And he had the two bags sitting out, and he's like, some of it's just recycling, doesn't take the scrap metal that I thought the last second. I'll check and see if someone wants this stuff. He was like an old racer in the 80s and 90s. And I said, yeah, man, I want the stuff. Let's dig through it. And I was like, how much do you want for it? Do you want to price items individually? Like, I was trying to get it out of him, and he wouldn't say. He's like, I was going to take the scrap metal. I'm like, okay. So I just dug through the bags and took out everything I thought was good or savable or fun. There's a Technomic stem I almost grabbed, but it was definitely bent. And some dead chain rings and a bunch of cut spokes in the bottom of the bag. There's some junk I skipped. Nice Scouty. And I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, well, I said 20 for all that stuff, but there's more stuff. He threw some other stuff in from the other bag. I didn't have the other bag out. He said, how about 50 for everything? And I was like, whoa, heck yeah. He had several sets of drifters in there. He wouldn't stop talking about how nice they were and how expensive they are. And I was about to put them back, because I don't care about drifters and they're expensive. He's like, yeah, 50 for everything. And he had this brand new rack. And he's like, I don't want $20 for it. It's brand new. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, you should take it before I change my mind. And I was like, okay. So I got that. Then I went outside and I showed him my crappy nothing special Schwinn. And noticed the saddle's a little bent. It's like a used saddle I put on there. I'm like, oh, it's bent. He's like, oh, I have some saddles. And he brought out saddles. He had two Brooks, one in a broken rail, so I didn't care. Two Brooks, a nice tie flight, another saddle on an American Classic seat post. This real scuffy, but cool. So it's like, yeah, another $20 for that. So I paid 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 bucks for all this stuff. I wish I would have got a picture of the original posting. But as you can see, insert frame, it's a bunch of stuff. And I guess we'll go through it right now. But one grocery bag full of bike parts for about the same money as I just spent on a whole bag of groceries. And I think this is a way better deal. So let's check it out. Okay, so went through and cleaned most of these parts and recycled quite a bit of things. A lot of stuff was a lot more dead than I thought. I mean, I still think it's probably a pretty good deal. But I figured we'll go through them because it's fun. So, at the last second, he's like, oh, I thought I didn't show you my saddles. I didn't. He ran and grabbed them. And he asked 20 more bucks for saddles. And I got this Stellia Flight in perfect condition. I don't see it say tie rails anywhere, but it's super light. I need to get a magnet. Let's do that right now. So I grabbed a magnet. It's not magnetic, so it's either alloy or tie or maybe something really weird, but I am guessing tie. It looks like tie. It's really light. It's not magnetic at all. So this is a pretty hot saddle. A big Forte brand soft tail cruisery softy saddle with one little crack in the foam. Still soft and nice. It'll be fine for some build bike or some community bike, hybrid or something. I need to clean it. Forte is like a online company like Bike Tires Direct or whatever that was just insanely popular with a lot of home mechanic-y roadie types 10 or 15 years ago. I don't know if they're even still around. They probably are. But you see a lot of Forte branded stuff pop up. This saddle, which I know nothing about, Prologo? I don't know. Active Density. There's numbers and things and letters on it. It's pretty light, but as you can see, it's magnetic. I can't even tell anymore. This looks like a cheap saddle to me, but maybe it's $200. Maybe it's $25 new. Who knows? This very worn, but still looks not very stretched and pretty good Brooks. It's got one little crack in the leather here, and it's got the hammered copper rivets. It had green slime all over it. Tried to wipe off. You know, I hate Brooks. I think they're the most uncomfortable thing in the world. People think that they're great. I'll probably put it on my bike and try it and move it a few times until I realize I can't stand it and take it off. Because it'd be cool if I could learn to like them. They're, you know, kind of cool, good looking. Here's a sad case. So you had several sets of Ultegra brake levers with no hoods. Here's one where the front works. The back did not. The 9, I'm getting nothing. I'm soaking it in T9 silicone lube, hoping that'll soften up the grease and bring it right back to life. But there's also just a very good chance that it's dead. So there's just one. I don't know. Might make someone's day. There's a couple of front hubs that I didn't think were worth anything as hubs, and I pulled them out just for the dummy axles and cones and quick releases, and I'll use them when I ship a fork or something. Just keep in case the box get hit, it won't crush the fork. A lot of bikes come with like little plastic spacers that don't weigh anything. I love those, but I'm out of them. I don't want to spend money on them. This will make the shipping slightly more money, but I'm not usually the one paying for the shipping, so I don't care. A little Avid cantilever brake doodadder. I think there's a set of Avid brakes in here. Here is the Ultegra outer ring off a set of all Ultegra 9-speed cranks. It's the 53 tooth. It's in pretty good shape. Pretty good. It's a little scuffy on the back, but not too bad. Chainring bolts out of it, which are pretty nice. Here's the set of the Avid Canty brakes. There was a full set, all 4, but they're missing all the bolts that mount them to the frame, and one of them was missing the little spring tension adjuster screw. So I basically stole the nicest hardware and put it on one set, made one pretty set. And I'll see if I can find some bolts that look right or the right things. Here is another set of Ultegra 6510 levers. Little road rash, got definitely wrecked a few times. But these ones have all the clicks. They need the little button and little hoods, but they're still worth a little bit because I say Ultegra. Here's the matchies. Ooh, Ultegra. This is something different. I put a different derailleur on a local guy's bike the other day. We sort of did some work on his bike a couple weeks ago and did a video. And his derailleur's crazy sloppy. I had a nice old 7-speed XT one that was only a little bit sloppy. And it was just missing the pinch bolt, so we stole it off his dead derailleur. But the pulleys are pretty nice, so I'm going to save them and label them. Probably forget, probably not remember what they're for. Maybe never use them, but you know, why not try? Here is a set of Cane Creek Canties. They're basically the Tektro squealers. It's one set. They're in good shape. They have the pad holders with the removable pads. They have the bolts. It's just one wheel's worth, but that's cool. Here's a set of slightly scuffy Shimano cleats, and there's a set of slightly scuffy Shimano pedals in here I'm going to put these with. Here's a set of very nice Shimano cleats. There's a set of very nice Shimano pedals I'm going to put those with. Here's a set of Time Attack cleats in pretty decent shape, and there's a pretty decent shape set of Time Attack pedals in here I'll put them with. A Ritchie front hub. I don't know if anyone's going to care about it at all. It might end up being just like an axle for shipping a fork. Here was a set of Suntour shifters that were sort of pulled apart, and in there I found all the pieces and put them back together. And they were clamp-on AccuShift Plus 7-speed or friction. I'll be on eBay for 10 or 15 bucks. I mean, someone might need them or care. They also might not. But they're kind of weird, cool, gray plastic Suntour band-on shifters. Here was one Ultegra derailleur they found all the parts for. It's missing the pulleys, but I found the cages and the bolts. And it's a little scuffy, and it's missing the pulleys. But otherwise, it seems like it's in pretty good shape. And you can still get you know, 9 and 10 speed pulleys for like $10 online, I think. So, you know, if I sell that, be worth 45 in good shape. If I sell it for 20 and so much to pay 10 for pulleys, you're getting $30 and much better deal. Here is the set of pretty dang nice Shimano pedals. Not scuffy or wrecked, not a lot of wear, not a lot of rust. Let's put them with them nice cleats. Bagging stuff so you don't lose stuff and lose little parts and hardware. It's just so frustrating. People are always losing everything and just not caring at all. Here's one FSA Gossamer crank. I have no idea if these are worth any money. I don't really care. But it's 50-34. So it's good teeth sizes. So it's probably 110. Neither of the rings really have that much wear on them. The cranks aren't scuffy and messed up. They're a little dirty. Probably could wipe them down a little bit more. And the splines look good. I don't know, it's this oversized hollow axle. Maybe it's a BB30 or something. I don't know. I don't mess with that stuff. 175s. I think they're cool. I'll definitely put them on eBay because I don't mess with that stuff. Here is a sad case. So this is cool. Vintage Shimano 600 crank. 6207. I think this stuff is great. It's kind of square. It's very 80s. It's very cool. I was all stoked because I found the non-drive too. But when I was cleaning them, I noticed the non-drive square taper was totally blown out. I pulled out the crank out of the recycling. I want to see if we can see how it's destroyed. So you can see right here that square taper is mushed and rounded. Not a square anymore. You can see it down here too. It drops down right here. It's all mush. What happened is this crank was written loose and it wobbled on the taper and just deformed that square taper before coming completely loose to where they noticed and couldn't ride, which usually takes 3 to 10 seconds. So it's fast. People don't ride on them loose for months. It's like, oh God, this is terrible. Then once that's wallowed out, you can tighten them down and tighten them down. They'll keep coming loose every 5 or 10 minutes or day or however many miles. They are just done, and it does happen on non-drives way more than it happens on the drive side. So whenever I install cranks, I usually tighten them both down, test ride them, try and put a mile on, or stand on it real hard for the couple blocks I'm riding, and then or somebody else tell them to wait till the next day, and then come back and just double check just this one. You don't want to keep cranking crank bolts down, because they'll keep pressing the square tapers on and blow them out. Which is another thing they can do. You can get the taper of the crank should stop 4 or 5 millimeters from the edge of this square hole. If they come all the way through, you're toast. If the crank bolt pushes on, can touch that bottom bracket spindle, you are toast. The cranks are dead. They're just going to come loose and wallow out. So that's one of the main things to watch out for on cranks. Is if this is wallowed out, if this is totally blown out, and if these threads are damaged or dead. So sad. Such a cool 600 crank. So just the decentish drive side one I'll put up on eBay for $10. Maybe it'll make someone's day if they wrecked a bike or something. Here's a weird thing I saved because it's 26.4 and it's chrome, and this is what I wanted for the CV1 I overhauled. This would have been real tight on it, or some other vintage mountain bike where it's all the right things, even though I'd never care. I don't know why I saved it. Who knows? This is cool. This came in one of the saddles. So this is a black 27.2 American Classic seat post. These are like the lightest seat post. It's the longer mountain bike version. The only problem is it's hella scruffy. So scruffy. And I'm afraid they're a little too light for me because they just have like the one little bolt to adjust it. You have to have the seat tension bolt loose to adjust the seat angle. Otherwise, it'll just strip the threads right out. Which is kind of common, and you'll see you guys have tapped them to the next size up and run like a regular bolt in there and stuff. And it's even scruffy on the tops and stuff. But it is cool, man. I was buying these new old stock and sell them on my website for $100, new old stock. So I really thought they were one of the coolest things you could get that was classic and modern at the same time and looked great on rando bikes and things. This is just the seat post off that Schwinn. It doesn't count. This is a Netto Technomic stem. I think I got this at Sunday salvage sales, but I was digging through all his stuff. He had a couple extra Nitto stem bolts. So I lucked out, so I popped right in. Fits great. It's only a little bit scruffy. It's real tall. It's 25.4. I'll definitely put this up on eBay. I mean, scruffy technomics still get $25. Nice ones will get you at least 35. Here's a whatever Bone Traeger hub. It's got weird low spoke count double paired spokes. I don't think this is worth any money at all. I'll put it up on eBay for $10 and see if anyone cares. And if not, I'll pull the rear axle out and use it for shipping a frame someday. Back on the Ultegra theme, here was a good complete Ultegra derailleur. It's a little scruffy. No real wear on the pulleys. Nothing else looks wrong with it. 6,500 9-speed. You know, I just had a real clean one of these go for 45 on eBay fast. I'll list this for 40 or 39 or something and see if it disappears quick. Here's an Ultegra crank set. He had a mismatched crank arm and a crank arm that was on some frame he didn't pull off and didn't seem to want to. So whatever, but I got the one set. It's real scuffy. There's no logos left, little scruffs. It does have self-extracting Octolink crank bolts. That's pretty cool. They're a 1725, which is my favorite size. 6500 and 6500/6503. The 03 must have been the triple or something. So, you know, I mean, someone's going to care. I mean, God, the crank bolts are worth $15. Put this up for 40 and see if anyone cares. They're scuffy, so they might not. Maybe cheaps. Sticking with the old Ultegra, he had a Ultegra rear hub. It cleaned up pretty nice. It feels buttery smooth. The free hub body was stuck, but I twisted it and it got smoother and smoother and smoother and smoother, and I think it's just some dried grease or something, or hopefully not an exploded bearing. It feels real smooth. I bet it's fine. It's got the correct skewer, which is pretty cool. It's the same 6500. We built a lot of bikes at Norther with these because the same place I was getting those new old stock American Classic seat posts, they still had a lot of new old stock Ultegra and 105 9-speed stuff for fairly reasonable. But I bought up all the Ultegra. It was stuck with just the 105, which people don't like as much, but we could get it. It's silver, it's pretty, it's new old stock. And he also had one of those. So this is the 9-speed 105 rear hub. It's basically the same as the Ultegra hub, but worth half as much money because it says 105 instead of Ultegra on it. Here is the slightly scruffy set of the Shimano pedals. It's a little scruffy, a little rusty. They will go with the slightly scruffy cleats. You get about $20 these all day long with the cleats. Someone asked 25. I bet I'll get them. Otherwise, I really don't care about SPD pedals. They make hot spots in your feet, and I have plantar fasciitis, and my feet don't feel great up there. A black XT Dior rear skewer. Got 3 of these in gray, put them on eBay, and no one cared at all. So, probably not worth anything. Here is the Time Attack pedals, and even though they look a little scruffy, I think that's from cement grind. They're probably on a fixed gear. I'm getting dragged on the ground with too long of cranks or something. But the way you tell if they're worn out is these bars, they get sharper and sharper and sharper and get flatter and sharper from the cleats. And these things are perfectly round and nice. Time Attacks are also what I think is legitimately the only clip-in pedals or clipless pedals, however you want to say it, that are good with fixed gears. You don't accidentally pop out of these when you try and skid stop, where you will with SPDs or most anything else. But the Time Attacks are awesome for that. So vintage 80s and 90s Time Attacks used to be very popular among fixed gear kids. If you want your clicky-clacky shoes. So clicky-clacky whenever you're walking around inside stores and stuff, looking all goofy. You could use them with, we used to use Shimano mountain shoes, because they have a little mountainy tread. So they barely click and clack, and you can still walk pretty flat, but it's still just dorky, man. BMX flat pedals are sick. Here's a set of Ritchie skewers. Ooh, Ritchie skewers, matchy, not too scuffy. I have no idea if anyone will care. I doubt it. It's probably worth nothing, but I'll put them up for $10. Maybe someone will flip out. Got a set of Ultegra 9-speed brakes. Someone might think these are cool. This one has a little scruffy road rash. They got the right bolts and hardware. This one has the right pads and removable holders and replaceable holders. This one is missing them. This one is missing the recess nut, but I have lots of extras. I'll put one on. Maybe I'll take the pads off to make them more matchy, or maybe I'll leave them on. Who cares? Maybe someone will be like, oh, I have a set. I just need 2. So yeah, 6,500 Ultegras. Pretty nice. And a couple of 6,500 Ultegra front derailleurs. So here's a Brazon one. The ano is a little spider-webbed and ugly. It's like road grime or corrosion. The frame it was on was really rusty. Said it was from sitting in the basement forever. It's got all the hardware. It's all the correct hardware, and it has like no chain wear. So pretty nice. And the same thing, but in the 28.6 clamp-on. And it's got basically no wear at all either. There's nothing wrong with it, but the ano is all spider-webbed and, alloy corroded. So more like rider quality stuff than super nice stuff. One seat color, who cares? And one set of old Diacompi brakes. The front one is missing the bolt, but it does have a set of Weiman hangers. I guess that's not really related. And it does have all the other little spacers and washers and things that would need on that bolt. That bolt was probably in the bag and I missed it. Wah wah. But, I probably have another one lying around, or an extra bolt, or something in my brake stuff. So hopefully I can find the right bolt and throw it on there. And but really, what am I going to get? Like $10 for these? Like, no one cares. Maybe I'll put them on an old vintage bike, but they're really more trouble than they're worth, man. Just go get yourself some new Tektros, man. There's so much stop here. And one little fender bolt. And one extra little SPD cleat bolt. But that is it. So this is my score. Oh, and the rack. Big, giant, heavy, brand new, but lying around on his basement floor, so a little scuffy. Gemo rack. I think Soma was selling these for a long time. They're like half the price of their Soma racks, but they're heavy, thick steel. This rack is like 10 or 12 pounds. It is a lot. I would not be able to bring myself to put this on a bike for me, or that I would sell. So I put it on Craigslist for $80. I guess they're like 150 or 60 new, 10, 12 years ago. And it is brand new. It's never been installed. So I put it on Craigslist for $80. We'll see if anyone cares. It is still kind of cool. It's actually a back rack. It's like 190 spaced though, so I assume you just bend it in till it fits. You can always put like a adjustable wrench on this side and bend it back a little bit to make it line up right with your dropouts. That's what I'm assuming, or maybe it's made for an e-bike or something. Who knows? Who cares? And then it's got the real standard upper adjustable stays. It's pretty cool. It's got wood panels. It's got a little lighter reflector mount on the back. Got a little built-in cage. It's definitely bigger than a grocery bag. Put a little dog bed in there and clamp your dog in. Jeez, it's heavy. And the rest of the stuff is dead. But I didn't throw away that much. A couple little things. One crank arm. A couple of hubs. I don't know. Some brakes. Missing some bolts. Nothing special, but paid $50, $60, $70 for this whole pile, including the saddles. Saddles were $20, $50 for all the rest of the parts, and $20 for that rack. So it saved this Technomic stem. I'll get $25 for that. It's half my money back. If I get $25 for some FSA cranks, that's the whole money. And then I still got the saddles and the derailleurs and the brakes and all that stuff to make it worth my while to do. I also bought a little mountain bike off of Facebook Marketplace. It was $25. It was way out in Beaverton. Bad pictures, but I was like, I'll give you $25 if you want to deliver it next time you come out to Portland. And they're like, yeah, sure, we're retired. We're going to go to Portland. So $50 for an old mountain bike that has Sun Tour power ratchet shifters on it, which are going for $90 on eBay. I put a pair up there and they sold for $90. I couldn't believe it. And I still have 3 extra pairs, so I'll probably sell them. And it has some other cool parts. Maybe we should take a look at that too. So I went down to the $20 bike garage sale. They were not $20. He was trying to get about $100 for everything. This is when I saw, like, sort of in the corner in the back of the photo, and I had to go get it. And I paid too much, and I probably shouldn't have bought it, but I did. You know, it's 80s carbon, it's junk. I tried to tell him that, he didn't care. It does have Dura-Ace brakes. The front is missing the nut. I just had a parts break, and I think I sold it like an idiot. And the front derailleur's got the wrong bolt. It's all rusty. I just had a dead one of these, and I sold it for $10 as a parts derailleur. That's stupid. I could have stole the pinch bolt out of it. Rear derailleur is a little scuffy. It's got aftermarket alloy pulleys. It's probably worn out. Who knows? Wrong back wheel. I tried to take the cranks off and couldn't figure it out. He said he bought all these bikes at police auctions. So he's going to learn how to fix up bikes, then never really did. So, you know, these probably were all stolen tweaker bikes at one point in time. So maybe those crank threads are fine. Maybe I can save the cranks, save the brakes, then it's worth what I paid way too much for. It's got the wrong shifters, like 90s RX 100 shifters. It's got a nice looking Mavic headset, maybe. Maybe that'll pay back. He wanted 120 for it. I think I talked him down to 80. Yeah. There's the other bike I bought. It's a low-end Raleigh record. They only want 50 for it, and it has 105 cranks, maybe good. Sun Tour Bountech front derailleur. It's got these aftermarket nutted, which I'm very excited about. Oh, maybe just, nope, that's just a rear with a nut on it, and then the front's drilled out, like you do. But the long reach Tecto brakes, which are good for a lot of conversions in old bikes. It has 700C wheels that happen to have old school 70s Phil Wood hubs. So that's why I paid him $50 for this bike. I wanted these wheels, wanted these brakes, and maybe some of the other parts will be incidentally fine. Some cheap junk. Specialized stem, if that comes out, it's cool. So let's get these things torn down. Buy Trek 2300. I thought about trying to sell this Sakai frame, but the old guy overhauled the bottom bracket and headset before he sold it to me and stripped all the threads out of the crank. So I could not get that thing back off. It'd be a big deal. So bye-bye frame. Sorry, you're a nice frame. If I was really in love with the frame, I would take a die grinder and cut through that bottom bracket spindle. But I don't care. I'll make my money back plus some. And it's hot, and I don't want to get sparks and dirt all over me. I'm already ready for a shower. I'm all sweaty and gross from stripping these three guys. This is quite the pile of parts. Overflowing, overwhelming. I gotta clean, put it on eBay. Here's the pile of parts from my $20 bike sale score that I have cleaned and just have to put on eBay. Here's wheels, bikes, and frames from the salvage sale. And I still got that weird 650C bike that I have to pull apart and clean and put on eBay. So yeah, I need to stop buying bikes. I spent like 3 hours stripping bikes. Stop buying bikes. Sell all these parts. All my other parts bins completely overflowing with parts falling on the floor everywhere because I have too many parts. Please buy my parts off eBay. I have too many parts. Not everything's on eBay. I don't even know how to tell anymore. I have so much stuff. It's going to be a whole nother giant job to go through. So, thanks for watching this impromptu last minute score video.